welcome everybody. Happy Monday night. It's Battle Superfluous, so what are you drinking? I hope everybody's got one. Take a sip now. That is a Dogfish Head IPA. It's my favorite beer ever. Behind me here, this is Gandalf the Giraffe. I am Paul Carganilla, your host for this BS tournament. This is our fourth battle of our premier tournament. And 8 teams have now officially entered, and only one will stand at the end as Battle Superfluous World Champions, our first ever. Tonight's battle pits the black team against the purple team, and they will be debating the topic drawn 1 week ago, which is more badass ability to speak every human language fluently versus with animals. And Katie won the secret Facebook advantage for the black team, and they chose to defend that it would be more badass to speak every human language fluently. So purple team will be defending it would be more badass to speak with animals. The winner will go on to our Final Four at the end of the month, where they will battle the winner from last week's battle, which was a lot of fun, very entertaining. If you didn't catch it, you can watch it on our website, bsdebate.com. The winner, as always, is determined by a best-of-3 verdict count. We have 2 guest judges sitting in with us this evening, and the third judge is you, the viewer at home. If the judges' votes are split, it will be your vote that decides which team moves on. So, speaking of our judges, let's meet our judges for this battle number 4. We're going to start with Robert Ramirez. He is a professional stage actor and magician. Robert, thanks for joining us. What are you drinking?
I am drinking a raspberry lemonade, Minute Maid style.
And can you tell our players here in 3 words or less what will earn your vote tonight?
Funny, passionate, and funny.
Very clear. All right, thank you, Robert. Monica is also joining us as one of our guest judges. Monica, thank you for joining us. What are you drinking?
I'm just having water. It's a really hot day here, just trying to stay cool in the house.
And in 3 words or less, what are you looking for tonight?
I'm looking for creativity, originality, and humor.
Very nice. All right, those are our judges. Let me introduce y'all now to our players for this battle. Our purple boot is Angelina. Angelina is joining us tonight all the way from New York City. She is an actress, dancer, singer, and stunt ninja. Kathrynn is joining us as Sword for the purple team, and she is also an actress. She also develops themed entertainment.
Woo!
The hammer for the purple team is Christopher Padilla. Chris spent some time with the Navy, in the Navy Reserves over there. And so from the Navy, we go to the Air Force as I bring in the black team. And our black boot is Katie. Katie is joining us all the way from Oklahoma tonight. We've got like a national crowd. This is awesome. Thanks for joining us, Katie. Our black sword is Jamie Carganilla. And special to have her here on the show because she's also my wife. And so for the next 25 minutes or so, I'll be the envy of probably millions of people around the world because I'll have my finger on an actual, literal mute button for my spouse. The hammer for the black team is Dani Kerry. Dani battled with us in the first battle here for the blue team. They were knocked out, but she was brought back as our Facebook Phoenix. Our runner-up for that same vote was Max. Max was on the blue team as well. He's joining us this evening as our Wildcard lifeguard. You are now familiar with everyone in the arena, so let's begin this battle. Battle number 4, right here, right now. The topic is more badass ability to speak every human language fluently or to speak and converse with animals.
All right. Well, first off, I am drinking some sangria tonight. Sangria loosens the tongue and helps to wrap your mouth around new languages. Now, let's start with some linguistic facts, okay? Someone who can speak multiple languages, 6 or more, is known as a polyglot. someone who can speak 12 or more is called a hyperpolyglot. Now, according to the Ethnologue, which is a Languages of the World web-based publication, it has a detailed list that, as of this year, includes over 7,106 distinct languages, okay? Now, this includes sign language, Creole, and Pidgin. Now, to this date, the person recorded to speak the most languages is Ziad Fassah, a Liberian-born polyglot who claims to speak 59 languages. That's great. Now, if we could speak every human language fluently, we would need to speak over 118 times more than what Ziad can. Now, why would it be a more badass ability to speak every human language over speaking to animals? Well, among making travel easier and more enjoyable, from being able to order from the new restaurant in Canada, which is sign language based, or being able to understand what my 2-year-old is saying, here are 3 reasons. 1, being able to defend yourself in any situation. All right, example, who has been in the midst of getting a pedicure when the ladies start jabbering in Vietnamese, okay? And you know they are not asking for someone else's nail polish remover, they are talking about your funky feet, okay? Now, how badass would it be to see the shock on their faces when you can blast them right back in their native tongue, okay? That's much better than my dog telling me that he needs his anal glands expressed, okay? Number 2, I don't need a Sarah McLachlan song or Caesar Milan to translate the look in my Basset Hound's eyes when he needs a belly rub or more water in his ditch, okay? But as a U.S. Air Force officer, when I am over in Afghanistan, being able to speak any dialect is going to get me out of a lot of situations. It's going to help diffuse war, possibly, by being able to negotiate, okay? So it's way more badass. Now, finally, being able to spread your message of love and hope to the far reaches of the world, okay? It's awesome. There are so many places we have not been to yet, and being able to go there and speak right off the bat and share either it's your faith, your politics, whatever it is, being able to speak human languages is going to be so much better than being Dr. Doolittle.
I'm drinking wine because I'm on a purple team. It's a kind of wine I can't pronounce. My husband gave it to me. Apparently it's really cool. And my favorite thing about wine is in vino veritas, so here comes the truth, baby. Well, the best thing about being able to speak with animals is that you are the only person on the planet who can. You are the only person who knows all of these different languages. No one else can listen in on what's going on. You have the upper hand. The other part that's cool is that whether you believe in evolution, creation, doesn't matter. Animals got here first, so they have the upper hand on what happened. They're going to give us tons of insight. I have a couple questions I'd like to know, which I think would be pretty cool. I want to know about Area 51. They've been there. Bigfoot, Loch Ness, unicorns, mega shark. Is there a Sharknado 3? Is anyone going to get cast in that? Who knows? Who knows? These are the questions. And you can not only find out, is there a Loch Ness monster, but with a full conversation, you can find out what their favorite ice cream is, what their favorite color, and we can finally answer the question, what does the fox say? But this isn't about being cool. This is about being badass. So the top 3 badass human careers that would be more beneficial to have a little animal interaction. Number 1, a pirate. That's right, pirates are cool. And much like in Pirates of the Caribbean, copyright Walt Disney Films, Jack Sparrow was able to escape from his exile because he jumped on 2 sea turtles, which sounded stupid at the time, but if you could actually talk to a sea turtle, I bet you could convince them to help you out. Number 2 badass career, being a wizard. I mean, Harry Potter is badass. Yes, in the movies he's pretty cool, I like him, but the book is so awesome, and he can only talk to 1 animal in those. 1, that's a snake. It's fun. If you could talk to all the animals, imagine the powers you have. But the best human career, and this is my personal favorite, would be to be an international spy. I've always wanted to do that even without bugs. But they spend all of their time trying to plant these bugs somewhere. It's a huge risk. Wouldn't it be much cooler if you could just send the damn bug into the room, have them figure out what they're saying, send it back? It's always that, I wish I were a fly on the wall. You could just send the fly from the wall back to you. And all of a sudden you know everything. So it's pretty badass. Plus, every evil villain has some kind of animal, whether it's like the white cat from Bond or those like sharks with laser beams on their foreheads. You don't even have to be able to open your mouth. If you are tied up, a lot of animals, cats, dogs, they communicate merely by looks and movement. If you could communicate that way, you could get out of that situation. You could solve world hunger. You would know all the answers to everything you've ever needed to know, and then some, if you could talk to animals, and only you. Thanks.
Tonight I am drinking a delectable 2-buck chuck because YOLO. So there's that. Okay, first of all, I just want to revisit the question. The question was, what is the more badass ability? Not what's more beneficial, not what's more educational, badass. Talking to animals is cute, like really super cute. Can you imagine talking to a little baby bunny? It's not badass, however. The thing with talking to animals is you can't prove or verify in any way that you actually are communicating with and understanding said animal. I mean, if you're the only person with this badass ability, how are we supposed to know if your kitty wants his toy or if he's just kind of hanging out and wants to meow? We're just supposed to take your word for it? Like if you said, this is my dog Daisy, and she says she's really thirsty. I don't think anyone's going to fall over with awe. No one's jaw is going to drop. No one's going to be like, oh my God, how did you do that? They're probably just going to look at you awkwardly and be like, okay, well, give Daisy some water. Now, knowing every language is actually useful in everyday life. Talking to animals would be really super fun after beer pong at a party, but it's not something that you're going to use every day and show off your badassness. With knowing every human language, you can show off from any way from giving directions to, I don't know, potentially neutralizing a terrorist threat, thus saving millions of lives. Totally badass. That's it. That's all I have. Knowing every human language is way more impressive.
I'm going to just touch on some of the things that we've talked about so far. Okay, so 7,106 different languages. Charlemagne said to have a second language is to have a second soul. So if you know all 7,106 known languages, you have 7,106 souls. Aren't souls supposed to be like personal? Doesn't that turn it into something that's impersonal, to have your soul all over the place? Here's another thing, okay? Here's something else. Okay, maybe knowing that your dog is thirsty is really cute, but how about defending yourself in any situation from an animal? Okay, how about defending yourself from a lion? How about saying, hey lion, don't eat me, or hey tiger, don't eat me, or I don't know, let's talk about the Middle East. There's camel spiders out there. If you save everybody from a camel spider eating your entire leg off, I'm pretty sure everyone's going to think you're a badass, and then it's not super cute. Here's another thing, okay? You have the choice to learn every language. That's a learned skill. Pick up a Rosetta Stone. Pick up a freaking book, okay? You can learn a language. We choose not to learn these languages. That's a choice that we've made. But being able to talk to an animal, that's like a cosmic superpower. Last I've checked, superpowers are pretty badass. I'm pretty sure Guardians of the Galaxy isn't doing stellarly in the box office right now because superpowers and superheroes aren't cool. No. Talking to animals, totally badass.
And Katie is gone. So that's why we have a wildcard lifeguard. Max is going to step in here as the black boot.
All right. Okay. Well, let me just lay this out pretty quickly. Okay. The point is, what's badass? Okay. And I heard your cute little tale of cartoons and Loch Ness monsters and whatever it is that you were talking about. But here's the deal: there's more to being badass than just beating people up and protecting the galaxy. How about being slick and suave? How about being an international spy? Or perhaps a bank robber? Huh? What's cooler than that? Huh? You know where I'm going with this. Robert Redford. No one's cooler and more badass than Robert Redford. Huh? You know what I'm talking about. He could talk to just one animal. He was a horse whisperer. But you know what? He could also spit game to a waitress in the south of France. That's pretty cool. And I think every lady on this panel would agree with me. There's really no one cooler than Robert Redford. That's the end of my little argument.
I have to say Robert Redford is a hugely compelling argument. I mean, the guy is pretty badass. You're right, he spoke to horses. That was cool. But I'm not just talking about bunnies and butterflies and that kind of crap. I'm talking about being able to have a pet tiger or a great white shark who's your bestie. I mean, these kinds of animals to be able to influence and perhaps, I don't know, ask them to do something. I kind of feel like birds hate people after the movie The Birds, so I bet you could get them on your side to do all sorts of amazing things to people you don't like, which is kind of badass. They could help you defend the galaxy, they could help you versus, I don't know, anyone you don't like. I don't think it's just about talking to people who are cool, but we have limitations. I mean, animals can fly, they can swim down further than anything else. You have it in with those kinds of creatures. You have the ability to talk to them, ask them, get their opinion, have a little conversation. I think you, in turn, have all of their abilities as well. So humans are limited. Animals rock. I want to talk to them. Thanks.
So this really is plain and simple. The thing that is the most badass is the thing that fulfills what all of us want most in life. And really, what is that? And if you ask any contestant for Miss America, she's going to say world peace. World peace is what all of us want in life. And how do we achieve peace? We achieve peace through communication. Not with animals. Animals are not the ones that are at war with us. They're not the ones that are killing hundreds of thousands of innocent people. We are the ones killing hundreds of thousands of innocent people. And I even wore a little necklace today. My brother got this for me. It's, there it is. It's the Armenian word for peace. And if I don't know how to speak Armenian, then I don't know what this means. See, same thing. You know, we've all got to communicate. So how awesome would it be to go into all these different countries and be able to talk to everyone and really communicate and not have any of this language barrier where you accidentally say the wrong thing. Also, Jamie made some great points about talking to animals is cute, like really, and we don't even know if they're actually communicating. Like, do you remember what happened to Dr. Dolittle? The old school version, not the Eddie Murphy one. He got thrown in the loony bin because nobody believed him. And yeah, in the end, things worked out okay for him specifically, but really, he went through a lot of trials and tribulations with the masses. Most people did not believe that he could actually talk to animals. Also, there was an argument on the other team that having a lot of souls wouldn't be awesome. I totally disagree. Having a lot of souls and being able to speak different languages and being able to be a part of this culture and be a part of this culture, which is what I'm assuming having a lot of souls actually means, would be awesome. You know, if I can understand your language, then I can understand your culture and where you're coming from. Super cool. Also, you don't know, I think Angelina was talking about, we don't know that you're the only person on Earth that can speak to animals. You know, if you can do it, then there's a high likelihood somebody else could, which lowers the badass factor by at least 50% if somebody else can do it.
Okay, so I think we should start out by, just go ahead and saying welcome to everybody for, being part of this debate. It's been awesome so far, listening to all the great arguments, and we need to go back to the original topic here. What would be more badass? The ability to speak every language fluently or the ability to converse with animals? Badass, as defined by the Urban Dictionary, is an ultra cool mother, you know what? More, as defined by Bing Dictionary, means with greater intensity. So that's not saying that if you speak every single human language, that doesn't mean you're not a badass. It just doesn't mean that you're a badass to the intensity of somebody being able to converse with animals. So I just want to touch on, what we'll be able to gain. What can we really learn by speaking every single human language? We have translators out there. Katie pointed out that we have a person that can speak 59 languages. Well, with all the people that speak different languages, we have the ability to communicate with everybody. So there's really nothing left to be learned. By being able to talk to animals, we can learn a lot more about their life, how the world works, the bottom of the ocean, for crying out loud. We don't even know what's down there. We could find that out in a day, okay? And go ahead and actually moving on to Katie's arguments. First of all, the best pilots are in the Navy. That was proven. Goose and Maverick, best pilots ever. And she pointed out that for somebody to speak every single human language, which is over 7,000, the polyglot that speaks 59 would be 118 times more badass than he is now. Well, how about one person that could speak even just one animal language? That's infinitely more than we can speak now. So a human speaking every language would be 118 times more bad. That's it already? Oh, anyway, so okay, so and how do we how do we diffuse war, terrorism, all these kind of things? World peace, that was brought up. I have an idea. Ace Ventura. He took down an eco-terrorist by being able to converse with animals. We speak human languages. We have the UN, and clearly it has not stopped us from fighting wars. It has not helped. Look at Gaza.
I got an email from a fellow. His name is Arnold, and it reads, Mr. Paul, I really like your show. Thank you, Arnold. It seems like a lot of very smart women would watch this show. I am looking for a very smart woman. Don't laugh, he's a sponsor.
Hey, Arnold.
I'm bringing you up, all right.
Hi.
I like food a lot, especially sandwiches. If you'd like to get in touch with me, please find my Instagram. It's named @ArnoldRules because I rule. And I like stand-up comedy. There you go. If you'd like to sponsor a future message of the show, head on over to bsdebate.com, click on Sponsor BS, and learn how.
Okay, well, I'd like to start because we're assuming in all of this that all animals, like the ones that live at the bottom of the ocean, have a high enough functioning capacity. I mean, a lot of animals, like amoebas, just have like the most minimal nervous system, so they don't really communicate in a way that would be helpful to us at all. You know, you have little animals at the bottom of the ocean, and they're going to be like, food. You know, that's probably all they'd be saying to you. You know, they don't really have any
Who
of
knows? You can assume that. No one can actually speak that yet. They have to be able to communicate somehow. It's not
Right, but
just
it's
verbal
funny.
language, it's body
Well,
language.
they don't need anything other than
And I would like to point out that there's a lot of humans that don't communicate meaningful language.
Okay, well, you got a point there. I won't do that.
That's true. However, being able to speak any human language, like if you go to Papua New Guinea, they speak with like clacking of their tongues, okay? That's not a normal human language, but you'd be able to understand that, and they'd have something to offer. And animals, what? Even if you go to some exotic animal, what are they going to be able to offer you? They want food, they want to mate, and they want shelter.
Well,
That's
who
what
says
you're
we
gonna get
can
from.
speak to them? It's not like we know that they have nothing to offer. What if there's a fish we've never discovered out there whose gills cure cancer? Don't you want to cure cancer? I want to cure cancer.
But
Are
are
you
they going to be able to understand
Now
that?
gills can cure cancer. The fish is not going to be like, hey, I have gills that can cure cancer. How are you going to figure
So kill me and use my gills. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what
let me just let everyone in on a secret, and it's a total twist of fate that I ended up stepping in for the black team because I'm going to let everyone in on a secret. I actually can speak to animals, okay? I'm gonna tell
Yes,
you
Michael!
what your dog
Michael's pretty
is
badass,
saying.
you guys.
That's important, okay? What your dog is saying. Nothing. Give me a treat. Scratch my balls. Give me a treat. There's someone
Are
at the
you
front
saying
door.
Michael's
Give me a
not
treat.
badass?
That's it. That's it. No, I'm not
true.
badass. Ask my wife. I'm like the least badass person ever.
Okay, and let me just step in real quick. I'm sorry my computer died, but your guys' argument was basically like about movies, because you just want to be in movies. You want to be Harry Potter, and you want to be Pirates of the Caribbean, and bugs. I don't know if that got touched upon. They're mechanical bugs. They're not real bugs that get planted into rooms.
No,
So
exactly. All I'm
they
saying is
need-
that they risk everything to be able to plant those bugs. It'd be cooler just to be able to send them in. Michael, as the black team, did say that being a spy is pretty cool because you can speak a bunch of different languages. I think it's even cooler if you have other animals on your team that no one else can understand.
Yeah, but you don't know that nobody else.
Honestly, like there's months and months of R&D that go into creating those bugs. Bugs just exist. Think of all the money that's being spent on creating all those
You
mechanical
could
bugs.
use that to cure
Those aren't animals.
cancer.
Yeah, that's the problem. Those aren't animals, you guys. We're talking about animals, not mechanical bugs that you plug into a lamp. We're talking about what's more badass. Okay, yeah, it's cool to talk to animals. It'd be cool to hear their story, but they're all pretty much going to be the same, even though they've been here since Adam and Eve and before that. What is that going to get you?
But don't you think that if there's maybe a higher being out there, they're looking down at us thinking, oh, they're just animals. All they want are food, sex, life.
Okay, so I think it just all goes back to the main topic that I was talking about earlier. You know, which is the more badass ability? Clearly, being able to speak every language is pretty badass, but as I've already shown, as my team has already shown, being able to speak to even one animal species when the topic was animals, plural, is infinitely more prestigious than being able to speak every human language, which is only 118 times more prestigious than we currently have in the status quo. And the other team, kept talking about, we could divert war, divert terrorism. Well, again, just going back to the point, that doesn't work. Animals can give us better intelligence.
Well, while I think a lot of very valid points were made on both sides, it really comes down to, as was just said, it's what is the question? What is more badass? And talking to one animal, as even though we can't speak to any animals currently, it's still, that doesn't make it badass to talk to an animal just because you're the first person to do it. Awesome, like that's cool and everything, but what does that really get you? I still don't really see how it's better to talk to animals than to send in, like, say, an insect. You know, even if you were able to communicate and say, I want you to tell me what's going on in that room, that insect probably doesn't have the capability, just based on science, actual science, like being able to study the brain and the nervous system, because those insects don't have an actual brain, they just have a nervous system. So that wouldn't really help you out in that scenario. So, yeah, I think that there's still a lot of questions there.
I had heard an argument in there that basically said less money would need to be spent on bugs and R&D that the military is developing. And so I'd ask you, do you hate America? That's our economy. Maybe you like people in the unemployment line. Maybe you hate Katie. I'm sorry, Katie. I love you, Katie. And I believe you have a team member who was a part of our armed forces for almost a decade. Do you hate your own teammate as well, I ask? How dare you? How dare you, is what I say. Because the truth is, that R&D gives Katie a job. It might even give you a job. So I say a vote for the black team is a vote for America. Thank you.
I have one question for Angelina. Let's say you could speak to animals, and that animal happens to be a jerk, because all of us have that jerk friend. What do you do in that situation? What if you talk to him and he's that jerk at the bar who's like always hitting on you? But what do you do in that situation if you find out that the animal you want to study is just a butthole?
Well, the thing is, I feel like there's a pretty good chance that there will be some out there, because let's be honest, there are a lot of humans I don't like to talk to. So I would do what I would do with any other human. I would just get another drink, and I'd go to the other end of the bar and find a different member of that species who might be cooler. Maybe a girl. I'm just going to throw it out there. Maybe a girl.
Okay.
I have a question for Jamie on the black team. If you were able to speak every single language in the entire world, but were unable to travel, how would you handle your gift, and how would you contribute your gift to the world?
Well, I think one of the things about living in this day and age that makes that ability so super cool is the amount of technology that we have and the speed at which that technology is developing. You might not be able to speak, every 7,150 languages to everybody if you really couldn't travel, because let's face it, how are you going to get to the Incan civilization that nobody's ever discovered? But you could share your gift. You could make your own web series. You could go on Oprah. I mean, Oprah is a superpower in her own right. So there's that. So there's still ways that you could share your ability and be a total badass and show off to everybody, even if you can't travel.
For the purple team, what I've noticed from the black team is just a lot of notions that what animals would have to say wouldn't be a big contribution to human society. So how would you defend the intelligence and or emotional intelligence of animals?
And I think it goes both ways. There aren't a lot of humans out there that have a great emotional contribution. Maybe some of them were part of this argument tonight, but the communication that we could have with these animals, we could stop endangered species, we could stop extinction, we could get them to be on board with conservationist efforts. I mean, you don't know what a cow knows, what a fish knows, what a monkey knows until you start to talk to them. They may know more than we could ever hope, but we'll never know if we can't talk to them. I mean, Cesar Millan has a career out of speaking to dogs, right? I mean, if you could speak to every animal in the world, think about that.
Thank you to everyone for joining us, our players, our judges, all of you at home. And Arnold, I wish you the best of luck. We'll see you all soon. You can watch every battle at bsdebate.com. Next is the semifinals, the Final Four. Will the purple team or the black team be there?